Okay, good morning, my dear viewer. This is Icon Studio, and today I would like to introduce um, what CorelDRAW is for those who just want to learn CorelDRAW from the scratch. The ABC of what of graphic designs, and CorelDRAW is a very lovely software that can give you the desire you need when it comes to graphics. But before you want to learn CorelDRAW, you need to know the features of CorelDRAW, like knowing what the title bar is, that the menus, you have different menus which we're going to pay attention to, and you have what you call shortcut bar or standard bar, and these are what you call properties. Properties are attached to your the tools here, and we have a lot of tools in CorelDRAW. I'm going to give you a detailed description of how all these tools work and the most important ones. So just pay attention and listen. Now we have what you call the color palettes here, your vertical and horizontal scroll bar here. Are you seeing it? You have your page status here, knowing the number of pages you want to do. So we're going to learn all these things, and it's a very good one. CorelDRAW is a very lovely software that can give you the best graphic designs you want to do from scratch. So to open your CorelDRAW page for a beginner, maybe when you just install the software, you can go to your file, you know, and you see what's something like new here. To get to this page, something like new here, and you have your page settings, so you can come here and set your page. So this is a number of pages if you want one design. Color mode, we have two types of color mode, CMYK and RGB, which will be explained, but let's leave it as RGB. Inches, mostly um, 11 by 8, depending on what you want. But if you want to change the orientation, you can just click here and the orientation will change. Resolution is simply means basic default is 300. If you want to reduce it, fine. If you want to increase it, fine. And DPI, dots per inch, tells you the number of pixels you have in your design. And bleed simply means preventing if you want to show um, or if your design is going to what come out of your document page, you need to set it here. But be it as it may, you can still um, adjust it to your purpose. So let's just hit the OK button, and can you see that it has changed? So the first tool I'm going to show you now is the pick tool. The pick tool is the master tool. It's called the master tool to me because with the pick tool you can select, position, transform, name it. So let's say my pick tool is on now. I can select any of these icons, but if I select any of these icons, I can do some things with them, like when it comes to movements, resizing, and the rest. So that is the work of the pick tool. So what you do is that you go to your shape, any of these shapes. If I click back to my pick tool, circle, bring it out. Can you see that? If I click polygonal tool, bring it out, and go back to the pick tool to be safe. So let's say I pick the rectangular tool and I bring out my shape. Now in CorelDRAW you can design anywhere. You can place your objects anywhere. This page is wide enough, but when you are done with your design, make sure you place them on the measured document view here, and you delete every other variable around outside your distance so that it doesn't affect your job. So let's go to um the rectangle button. So you just click and you bring out your shape, right? And you go back to the pick tool so that it doesn't disturb you. So I said the pick tool is used for what? To position. So I can move my shape. Can you see it to wherever I want to go? And I said it's also good for what? Resizing. These points here, these nodes are known to help us to what? Resize. And with the help of the pick tool, you can resize. Are you seeing it? I've made it small. I can even make it smaller than this. can make it long, and I can make it wide, depending on whatever I want to achieve with it. And you see that it's very wide, and I can still bring it back to normal, the normal shape we had. So with the pick tool, we can do what? We can rotate. And how do we rotate? You click again on the shape. Can you see that the pointers have changed? It's now we're having this, we're having this, we're having this. So this is to rotate. This button here is to rotate. When I put my pointer, it brings this curve here. So it's to what? To rotate. So I'm going to rotate like this, and you see how it's following me. So you press your left mouse button and it follows you. Let's do it again. Click again and rotate. I play with this all the time. If I just want to maybe think of what to do, I will just be playing with my rotation button until I have an idea of what I want to design. Right now, with the pick tool, you can do what? Skew. Skew simply means, let me get this out. Skew simply means you want to, sorry, I think there's a mix up here. Let me bring out another page so that we will not get too confused. Okay, so I said with the pick tool you can do what? Skew. So if I want to skew, I can just click again. This is my skew button. Can make it look what? Slanted. I can change the dimension of my shape. It was a rectangle, now it's now this dimension, like a diamond shape. So you can skew it even more and more and more, right? Just something like that, right? And you can stretch it if you want to, like resize it. Can you see? Let's think of something we can create with this. Okay, let's say we have something looking like this, for beginners, and you want to just get something out of this. Okay, let's go back to the rectangle tool. I can just place something playfully here, playfully here, playfully here, and playfully here. And if you look at it, it looks like a table, so just from the skew. And even if I want to give it color, I have my color palette to click, and you have your color. So you have this here. I know it's overlapping, so what to do is just you right click, order, and let's click on this, right click, order, back of layer or back of page, whichever, and it just goes behind it so that it hides there. And you right click this to order, let's say back of page or back of layer, whichever. And can you see we have a table from the skew, command of the pick tool. Also, we have the pick tool. You can do what? You can group. And what do I mean by grouping? Grouping simply means moving all these elements together, so that if I want to move them now, you see I'm just clicking and it will only be moving once if I click move one, but I want to move all of this together. So with the pick tool, help of the pick tool, I can do what? I can group. And let me show you what grouping is. So I select, I'm going to form an imaginary box, left click and drag. I left click and drag, then I select and I right click, and this is group. And the command for group is Ctrl G. So if you click on this group, or on your keyboard, it's a Windows keyboard, Ctrl G, and you have it grouped, right? And you see how it goes. Now added to that, with the pick tool you can duplicate. How do we duplicate? on your keyboard, Control D is duplicate. But if you're using a Windows soft system, you just press the plus on your keyboard and you have another shape, another design. Can you see? So I've duplicated this, and that is one unique thing about CorelDRAW. When you take your time and your stress to create one design and you want to replicate it, don't go back, go over again. What you do is what you duplicate, and you have your design. So you have this, you have this, you have this, and you can change the colors of, you know, can you see that? And they're all changing, right? They're all what? Changing. So you can learn all this about the pick tool. That's why they call it the master tool, and it's a very, very unique tool. Um, as I said, this is a beginner's class for those who want to really know much about these tools. So it's just a basic fundamentals of knowing what CorelDRAW is. As we advance, we will now see the magic, the creativity that is done with what? With CorelDRAW. Thank you.